Haha. Howdy, gang. Hello, Grant. You made it in early. Very cool. What do we got going on here? Some kind of big announcement. I should probably put my headphones on. This was kind of came out of the blue. There's some fun going on. Mary and Elon gonna do their announcement thing. Oh, but what will it be? Yeah, Elon and Mary sitting in a tree. I think we may see some kind of announcement going on here. Let me get this out of the way. Get my devices paired. What do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be NACS? Is that what's going on? I think it very well could be. Where is it? Come on. Yes? There we go. So now you won't have to hear it twice. What's the announcement going to be, you guys? Mary, you led. Well, did she? If it was really Jim who led, we shall see. This is going to be exciting. We've got about a minute, it looks like, until the big announcement. I'm thinking it's NACS. I think the only thing they could possibly do is say, hey, we're going to do it faster and better. Yeah. Than Ford, which is possible, I suppose. GM going NACS would be amazing. It would absolutely cement this as a real deal. Let's make this chat a little bigger, maybe. There we go. Yeah, it looks reasonable. Not great. Kind of had to rush to get this out. Gotta be breaking news, you guys. Mary is having Elon's baby. That would be on brand, perhaps. NCAS. Did I spell it wrong? On my thumbnail or something? NACS is the North American Charging Standard. If I spelled it wrong, that's on me and the very quick rush for time. Reminder set. Let's make this bigger and prettier, huh? There we go. And Jeff Lutz. Very good guy. Actually, I guess I don't know if he's a good guy. I know I like what he does. Whoopsie doodle. Move that over a little. Make it prettier. There we go. That's what happens when news is breaking and we got to rush. It certainly will not be bad news. No, and it will not be any kind of slap fight or anything like that. Oh, I see. Yes, looking good. Yeah, looking good. Is it time? Is it time? Certainly looks like time to me. Reminder set. Is it time? Let me turn this off real quick so I can check something. It says it started. It says it started, but it hasn't. Is anyone else hearing it somewhere else? Come on. Come on. Reminder set. I think we're still waiting. Surprise stream. I need a schedule. I need a schedule too, David. This is unacceptable. Reminder set. Let's go. Let's do it. For crying out loud. Can anybody hear it? 6,000 here.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining me on Twitter Spaces. And hi, Elon. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Welcome to Twitter Spaces. It's great to have you. And I think everyone's really excited to hear the announcement.
Well, great, Elon. I'm really excited to join you on this. And, you know, when you think about what's happening in our industry, and I've been in it for 40 years, this is the most exciting time when we look at this transformation to EVs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the great inflection points in vehicles. It's, I think, comparable to really the moving production line. So it's a profound change in the world. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think you and I both know and that in order to drive EV adoption, we need to have charging a robust charging infrastructure. And so I'm really excited to announce our collaboration with you and with Tesla. And by the way, your team is fantastic. That we plan to adopt the North American charging standard. And we're working really hard that our first vehicle will come in 2025. To me, what's even more exciting is that our existing EV customers can leverage the 12,000 Tesla fast chargers early next spring with an adapter. So I couldn't be more excited about what this is going to do for customers and for EV adoption.
That's great. I obviously want to emphasize that you have our full support, and we're incredibly excited to partner with you on this. It's and just really make it a fantastic electric vehicle experience, whether somebody is driving a car from GM or from Tesla.
Well, I agree, and I think I think we have a real opportunity here to really drive this to be the unified standard for North America, which I think will even enable more mass adoption. So I couldn't be more excited.
Well, it's fantastic. So I think this is really great for consumers. Yeah, I'm not sure if people in North America realize like it's a much better standard, and it's only one connector that automatically detects whether it's AC or DC, automatically adjusts for the current, and it's also it's light and easy to handle, and I think aesthetically is also preferable. We're honored to have you join us, and as I said, you will have our absolute full support.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the full support. And what you just mentioned, I think, is one of the key reasons why we're excited to be making this change because of the design and performance of the North America charging standard, from an ergonomic perspective and from a, reliability, durability. So I think it's, like I said, to me, anytime you're making a decision that is better for customers, it's better for the company as well, better for the industry. And, from a GM perspective, this really almost doubles access to chargers that GM has already made available. So, again, this I think is a really positive day for GM. I'm glad you feel it's great for Tesla as well. And I don't know if you want to say anything else, or maybe we could take some questions.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I think questions would be great. Do you want to pick people, or how should we do it?
I think if you have, why don't we start? I know one of the questions we're going to be asked is why is General Motors making this change now? And from a GM perspective, as I said, as we looked at this and realized we could, really address one of the biggest issues that customers are telling us is, hey, I like EVs, but if it's going to be my only vehicle, I need to know that there's a robust charging infrastructure. So I think this gives us a huge opportunity to do something that's better for customers and to drive it to be the standard. That's why GM's making this decision. But let's see if there's some other questions in the chat.
Great. Well, it's I think you have host authority, so it's up to you to sort of pick someone and invite them to be a speaker. But I think I see a lot of really great people that have tuned in and know a lot about the electric vehicle industry. So I think you could almost pick almost anyone, and they'll have some great questions.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the chat right now, and there's what I'm seeing is a lot of excitement. People are saying, "Can't wait, exciting!" But there is one question coming in that says, "When will the adapters be available?" And so, we plan to have adapters be available to customers early next spring. And so, again, this is coming soon, even though the vehicles will be in 25. Let's see. Another question is what would you say to someone considering an EV but is skeptical of the available charging? And I would say that, when you look at the fact that, Tesla and Elon, you have a large charging network already. And then, with General Motors joining and with Ford, the three US based auto companies are all on one standard.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to drive a lot of adoption, which I think will be really important. So for the customer who's skeptical of an EV, I think it all just got a little better. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this will really help put people's mind at ease, and um, yeah, we can focus on one standard, and it's really going to be great for consumers. They just won't have to worry about which which plug, which socket, which charging station, and it'll just work seamlessly. So I think this is going to be just a really fundamentally great thing for the advancement of electric vehicles in North America.
Yeah, I completely agree. Here's another question. Will new GM EVs with the North American charging standard be able to use a CCS charger? Yes, I think it is today that a Tesla consumer can do that, and those customers will be able to use an adapter with CCS chargers. And that's why I think this is so important because it unlocks both. But I think
Yeah.
when you look at the fact that Tesla already has the North American charging standard, and now when you look at, you've got two big OEMs doing it as well, I think that's key.
That sounds great. And I do want to reiterate to Jim, owners out there that you know Tesla's not going to do anything to prefer Tesla, so it really will be an even playing field. So I think people should feel comfortable buying a Tesla or a GM car, and we will provide support equally to both. Um, the most important thing is that we advance the electric vehicle revolution.
I completely agree with you, Elon. And so I know you're super busy, so I really want to thank you for taking time to make this announcement. So I think we probably should close things out. But again, an important step for General Motors for sure. I think something good for the customers and good for our industry. So I really want to thank you. And again, shout out thanks to your team as well.
You're most welcome. It's an honor to work with you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.
Turn my mic back on here. I'll leave that up just in case. Who knows, man? Maybe they'll accidentally say something extra in the overtime. Nope, it's ended. Oh, Ford and GM have joined the race. This is the North American charging standard. You've got two of the big three on board. You've got the largest EV maker in the U.S. GM was in second place for EVs last year, although they've discontinued the Bolt. They will get back into the race. It's over. NACS is it, baby. This is going to be big. Elon is smart enough not to open all chargers, but he said he will. Western Australia needs more superchargers. Yes, Hawaii needs more chargers as well. Hawaii's very small. I see consistent complaints from folks in Hawaii saying there's only one supercharger in the entire state, and it's on Oahu. Yeah, but Oahu's 30 miles by 40 miles. And that's small. You can charge at home, but can you? Apartment buildings don't have enough chargers for everybody, and it's a hassle. And the new manufacturing, they're not putting in enough. The new apartments only have a couple spots for 500 units. Right. You need to talk to your city planners about that. That's an issue. That's not Tesla's fault. That's something beyond their control. Tyler, good to see me during the Giga Texas, and thanks for hosting today. You betcha. I met so many fun people out there. Those are fun events because I get to feel famous for 5 minutes. Okay, 5 hours, but then I go to other places and get to be just the fat guy in the back again. So that's kind of fun. I have so many Tesla options. Yeah. It's a world of change. Beginning a new world. Yeah. Oh, what else do we need to say about this? There's some good stuff. We had some good chat. And the big reason I wanted to jump on and do this is because not everyone is on Twitter, and not everyone likes Twitter, and I still can't get my subscriptions turned on. I do have memberships turned on if you want to become a member. I've got some more members-only content going up. That's going to be not necessarily Tesla related, but interesting nonetheless, perhaps. And what else? Oh yeah, and then Twitter subscriptions will come when they enable it, which may be never. I don't know. My application's been in for 2 months. They'll get to it. As long as Tesla controls, he can make sure chargers are added before he opens all to Ford and GM. The supercharger expansion plans are rampant. They open a new supercharger station about every 13 hours. And unlike Electrify America, where they'll put in 2 stalls or 4 stalls, or they like to go big. They know what they need. And along busy corridors, especially in California, you'll find a 20 stall across the street from a 30 stall. And I don't mean across the street, I mean across the highway. But still, they know what they need. And maybe this means they'll accelerate building superchargers. But what it also means is all of the other guys, Electrify America, ChargePoint, all of them, are going to have to start immediately adding the NACS to it. So it's genuinely available for all the cars that are being sold. Otherwise those guys are just dead. So what do you guys do? Oh, we offer full service charging solutions for any car older than 2023. That's not a good solution, my friend. Oh, check the stock in the after hours. We should do that. I'm sure there's nothing to see here. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Make sure I'm looking all right there. Yeah, that's a little 3.5% bump after hours, after a very good day, after a very good week, after a pretty good month, 6 months, year to date. You're only up 117% since January, though to be fair, you are still down pretty far from the all-time high. Got some room to go to get back to that. Up 3.75%. New home building standards should include NEMA 1450. Up 4%. More data to Tesla. Data is the game now. Now, I'm sure, just like with Ford, GM has said, we wish to have access to our data. To which I'm sure Elon said, yes, of course. We will also have it. We are the go-between. We are the middleman on that data. And data is key. More data to Tesla. Volkswagen is next. They have to be, right? They have to be. My 300 condo building got wires at every stall. $20 a month to manage the account by a third party. Kilowatt hours at market price. So that's $6,000 a month to the management company for managing this service. I think that's doable. I think $20 for an individual is fine. I think $6,000 to be in charge of it, I think that's perfectly doable. Conservative stat sodomist said, I'm not a financial advisor, but that looks good, in my opinion. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you bet, David. I think it's important to keep not just a ground level perspective on it, but also to zoom out. Be very great. Tesla makes electric RVs. I'm looking forward to it. I really think the large van, sprinter size van, is coming. I think they need it for the boring tunnel, especially once they get connected to the airport. Little cars are great for getting point to point in town, but for doing big batches to the airport, you want to be able to fit 10 people in there to just save. And once that form factor comes out, they'll have delivery vans. They'll have delivery vans you can turn into an RV. It's going to be great. Oh, I'm guessing Volkswagen dies on this hill. Or West Virginia. Maybe you meant West Virginia. But either way would work. Because West Virginia is coal country and Volkswagen is Dieselgate. Well, there are a bunch of things. Wow. 4.5%. Does that mean I need to jump back over and look? Let's go back to the 1 day. 4.42. Make sure that's right. 4.38. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. This is the kind of news we haven't really had this year. We haven't had outside good news. Last year we had the Hertz announcement and some other interesting little things. But this is the big news for this year for sure. Any questions? I don't want to end it just yet. I'm having too much fun. My day was already going pretty good, but this makes it even better. Oh, Volkswagen is next. Yeah. Any more comments before we... Who do you think is going to be next? You think Volkswagen's going to be next? Do you think Honda and Toyota are going to jump on next? I think it's pretty clear that all the small players are going to be following shortly. But I don't know. I think everyone's going to have to follow now. This is it. This is the end of CCS in the U.S., which would be great. You're welcome, Mohammed. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Yeah. Okay, so it's pulling back a little. A little bit of the enthusiasm has been tempered. That's all right. What about Rivian and Lucid? They don't have a choice, do they? I don't see them having a choice in the matter. If it's do or die, guys. Are you on board or not? You got to get on board. It's time. Then the question becomes how many of the little players and when. And I think all of them, and immediately, Kia. Yeah, Kia would be an obvious choice. I can't see anyone sticking with CCS after 2025 at the latest. Yeah. Have solar panels of 13 kilowatt hours and a 13.5 kilowatt power wall. Very good. Saving lots since a few years ago. Nice. Lang, are you in Washington? Because I will be this weekend at the Supercharger at a Charge and Chat event in Tacoma on Saturday from noon to 2. It's at the Evergreen Shopping Center or something like it's in front of the Chuck E. Cheese, kind of. It's right about there in Tacoma, in South Tacoma. So that'll be fun. If you'd like to come out and be a clever robot, I'd love to see you there. I wonder if third-party companies will install NACS chargers. Doesn't seem to be a point. Why not? Why not? What's my view on Rivian and Ford? Rivian's got cost control problems that they're going to struggle with. They need to get they build the best $250,000 truck you can buy for $90,000. That's not a sustainable business model. Ford is going in the right direction. While they're not profitable on EVs and don't expect to be until maybe 2030, it appears they might already be profitable on a per unit basis, which is exactly what they need to be. It's okay to lose money on the CapEx and the R&D. What you need is to make money on every truck you sell so that the more you sell, the more money you can use to offset those outrageous costs. Rivian is not doing that. That's a concern. Western Australia. Yeah. Washington's very green. You'd love it. We don't like to tell people how beautiful it is because then they'll all come here. But we've got the mountains, we've got the sound, we've got so much green. It's beautiful. And every, 50 miles, 100 miles, we've got a giant mountain that's very picturesque. It's lovely. I like the orange. It is a lemon tree, yes. Super real, I promise. I think Ford will jump in and use Tesla. Yeah, I finally updated the backdrop. I got a lot of very friendly, considerate folks telling me, it's time, Brian. You need to update the backdrop. And I have done just that. And it looks pretty good, and it'll continue to look better moving forward, I suspect. I think Ford will be jump in to use Tesla FSD first. That's the great question, Be Present. Saw you earlier today on Herbert's stream. Good to see you. I think Ford will be the first to use FSD. I think the big guys would be wise to get their licensing arrangements in ahead of time. Don't wait for perfection. Get it in now. Because if you wait for perfection, then Tesla holds all the cards. If Tesla is the first to crack FSD, they will dominate the market. And if they're not the first, if they're late by even 2 years, they'll still be the first to market because it'll take 3 to 5 years to even start rolling out full self-driving in other vehicles because you have to design the vehicle around it. And Tesla will already have 5 million 10 million cars on the road that they can just switch on. They might need to change out the processor, but that can be done in 20 minutes. Mount Rainier is almost as pretty as Mount Hood. Mount Hood is beautiful, beautiful. But then you go further and you've got Mount Shasta. You go up a little ways north, you've got Mount St. Helens, which you can see from where I live, not my house, but my town. And then you go further, you got Mount Rainier, you got Mount Baker. It's just all the way up the coast, then into Canada, you got it again. Has anyone told Joe Biden, because this is a GM announcement following a Ford announcement, it's entirely possible that he will say something. I wouldn't go as far as to say likely. I was also disappointed that he didn't mention the... Let me move this over. I can make this a little easier to see. Does that work? That he didn't congratulate the Starship crew after a remarkable test flight. It was remarkable. Mary, you followed, and that matters. You did it. You followed. That was a good one, man. I like that. Great job on the new background. Hey. That was fun. What else do we need? Was there something else here? Yeah. Central Washington is flat. It's very... Eastern Washington is flat, but really it starts just over the mountains. Big if true. It's... these are the definitive sources on the matter, so I suspect. I liked the supercharger. Oh, yeah, the supercharger. I had never taken it off its backing. It looks so much better when it's off the backing. So I went ahead and gave that to Ryan, the president of the Southwest Washington Owners Club, for use in his garage so that it would have maximum benefit. FSD hardware too. Why not? Why not? Next, the independent manufacturers of chargers will have to follow. They have to. There's no one else. You got to do it. We grow lemon, lime, orange, avocado trees. Nice. Not for commercial, for our own use. Nice. The OEMs will start using Tesla software and the free patents. Boy, they've sure been hesitant to use the patents. Sandy Monroe from Monroe and Associates said, the problem is they're territorial. A lot of companies are, if we didn't make it, it's not good. If it's not ours, we don't want it. So maybe that's the concern there, is that they're just too stubborn. Yeah, still up 3.5% after hours. Will this hold tomorrow? Maybe. Tough to say. It is Thursday or Wednesday? I don't even know anymore. It's Thursday. So tomorrow, live stream is going to be on this channel instead of the second channel. The second channel winding down. That was there for the Fast Charging with B&B podcast. Barra is unfortunately too busy with his Turo business, and his YouTube channel was not growing in the way he would need it to justify the investment of time. So the podcast is no longer taking place, and the live stream, I'll just do it live on the main channel. I think you guys like me enough to not just automatically unsubscribe when you see it. There will still be the condensed version that goes out on Saturdays. It's good. Do you think Ford or GM brings out a new car next year with NACS? No. Their development cycle is such that it would be cost prohibitive and logistically difficult, if not impossible. They do everything years in advance. And I've got some questions that I'm going to get answered by an expert when I go to Michigan about how when a new car comes out and they plan to keep the platform for 7 years and then do a major refresh, do they plan all the little changes in advance? Do they know on day one this is what it's going to look like over the next 6-7 years? Bear is dead to me, but Brian, you're tolerable at best. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lex Luthor. Beyond NACS, this partnership will have global flow-on effects given Ford and GM app integration with Tesla charging. Maybe. It's tough to say. I don't know. That would be interesting if it does. Oh, not invented here. That's what it's called. Thank you, David. I knew there was a term for it. I just couldn't remember it. National Institute of Health. That's how I'll try and remember it. Beyond NACS, the partnership will have global, flow-on effects. Yeah. Oh, Mary said 26. Farley said 25. Okay. It's. I wouldn't be surprised if Ford does it a little bit earlier than 26. But also, Farley said 25. Could that mean the 26 model year? And so it could still be the same one. What's my view on NIO and BYD? BYD is a strong player. In my Are They Doomed series, they've got the second highest rating. BYD designs their own chips. They build their own batteries. They're vertically integrated. They're very aggressive. And their cost controls appear to be reasonable. They should do... I think BYD is definitely fine. NIO I haven't looked into enough yet, but if they're going to go with battery swapping, they're going to have a nearly impossible time of it. What's my view on your reaction? It's an honor to work with you, Mary. Is it? Is it though? How much will Jim Farley's unbiased confirmation to Tesla convince long-term skeptics to invest? Boy, I don't know. I think the skeptics, I don't know how many undecided investors there are. There are people who just won't touch it. I've seen people who say, the price is going down. I'm not going to touch it when it's going down because it's going to go down more. And then it goes up and they say, well, I can't buy it now. It went up. I should have bought it. I don't have a time machine. No, that's why you do dollar cost averaging. You pick a company. This is what I do, not investment advice. I'm not a trader. To me, trading is gambling, and I cannot be faster than the algorithms. To me, I've got a very long horizon. All of my Tesla stock, all of my investments are in my retirement account. I can't touch them, not for another, 15, 20 years. So I have to sit tight and plan for the future. So I find a company that I believe in, that I like, that I trust, and I buy. That's what I do. Who will make and sell home chargers with Tesla system? Everybody, right? Wouldn't it? Yeah, Roger, you're correct. It happens when their factories are ready. Victoria State is tough on EV owners. The state tax on the car mileage and car registration. Some states are like that. I don't remember which one, but there are states where they put in this EV, they say, well, you would have spent this much on gas taxes, so we're going to charge you this much. Right, but the state wasn't getting all that gas tax. A lot of it was going to the federal government. That's not your money. And now you're charging 2-3 times that. What, because we're rich? This is no longer a rich man's car. In California, you can get a brand new Model 3 for less than the cost of a Camry before you even factor in all the electricity savings over the cost of gasoline. It's just the state and federal incentives. Now, not everyone gets that $7,500 yet. You have to have $7,500 of taxable income. And I don't know what the cutoff is to have to pay $7,500 in federal income taxes, but I would guess in the 70,000-ish range would be my guess. I don't know. Mary Barra said 2025. I thought she said 2025. Yeah. Glad to see hundreds here instead of tens. That's the other thing. That's the other reason the second channel is dead. If I did this on the second channel, there'd be 10 people here, and there's more than 10. Sit tight. Enjoy the ride. My 187 shares were bought with beer money on a whim. Tastes a bit better than the beer would have, for sure. And if you try to buy 187 shares worth of beer now, that would be quite a party. Let me know. I'll check it out. It may be time for a third supercharger factory. Yeah. Currently, the superchargers are all made in Giga, New York. The second Gigafactory factory making superchargers is in Shanghai. Those do not come to the U.S. ever. I talked with a regional director in charge of picking out supercharger locations and getting them built, and he was saying that I asked him what the differences are. He said, couldn't tell you, never seen one. So, David, you can buy your champagne now. Maybe a third factory, or maybe just increase capacity at the one they have. I don't know how space intensive it is. I don't know if a whole factory just for that would be necessary. I agree with you. Tesla EVs are not rich men's car anymore. It's getting more and more economical. Now, mind you, there are still rich people who buy very expensive Teslas. But the S and the X are really the only expensive ones. Everything else has gotten pretty reasonable. And there are rich people who buy very affordable Model 3s because they just like them. You don't have to act like you have money just because you do. Some people are very humble and modest with their wealth. My neighbor has a very cheap car and pays a fortune to have her yard kept picturesque. It's lovely. I'm sure she's excited to be next door to us, where getting the gang out to do their chores on the yard is like pulling teeth. They're just going to wait for them to fall out, maybe. I don't know. My goal for Tesla end of year is 250 shares by dollar cost averaging. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Get there. I believe in you. And this is, man, still up 3.5% after hours. They should really sell the Roadster for $1 million a pop, regardless of what they cost to build. I think anyone who has a reservation as of today should get the original price, and that the new price should be $1 million. I don't know. I think it would be quite a bait and switch to ask for 50 grand, especially when, if they'd have put that 50 grand in shares at the time, that it's just painful to think of. And certainly the people who paid $200,000 down, $250 or whatever for a Founders Edition, they need to get their car at that price. That's you've got to reward that, even if you start selling them for $1 million after. But it's not $1 million car. Have you seen under the skin of a Dodge Charger, the Hellcat? I watched, what's the name of that channel? Goon Squad. I watched them rebuild that Lamborghini that was totaled, and looking at it under the skin, it's still artwork all the way down to the nuts and bolts. It's beautiful. And then they tore apart a Charger, and I'm like, what a chunk of crap that is. But I guess comparing it to a Lamborghini is maybe not the fairest example, but it's still a very expensive car. They paid a fortune for that Charger, for that Hellcat Charger, even though it was totaled. Crazy. When do I think the ChatGPT moment will happen for FSD? Soon or next year? Yeah. Stephanie, they already went live on the Spaces. It's already over. So you can rewind the video a bit to the very beginning, like 1 minute-ish in. They go live, and you can catch it there. Yes. So, but you can go back and catch it. It's very short. It's probably only about 5 minutes. 10 minutes at most. The ChatGPT moment. Here's my hot take. It's already happened. FSD is already as good as ChatGPT. It makes big mistakes constantly. Not constantly, but too frequently. It's just that the ChatGPT mistakes aren't always as critical. Now, you could say, well, with a bot, it's not 2 tons of material going down the highway at 80 miles an hour. No, but a bot can still knock over a candle or start a fire or puncture something. So FSD is already as good as ChatGPT. It's just that the stakes are higher. Now, bear in mind, an attorney did get in quite a bit of trouble for submitting a brief written by ChatGPT, which included citations to case law that did not exist. You got to fact check it, man. You got to fact check it. So I think we can go ahead and wind this down. If Rob starts his stream, this place will get real quiet in a hurry. Unless I just pull that up and we react to it. Nah, that's too much. That's too much. That'd be very silly, though. I got to meet Rob in person, finally. I talked to him before, of course. But I got to meet him in Texas. That was great. He was taller than I expected. And unlike the rest of us bridge trolls, he actually looks better in person, which is very upsetting. And I think that's completely unfair. But, what are you going to do? Oh, okay. Any last questions before we sign this bad boy off? Well, I thank you guys for hanging out with me. This was fun. This was fun. Hopefully we get to do more of these. Yeah, stay. Yeah, you'd stay here. Thank you, Tyrone. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yep. So we'll go ahead and wind it down. Subscribe if you haven't. I mean, you have. You're all here. Like, do whatever. Check me out on Patreon. I don't know. Big thanks to my patrons who get early access, bonus content, all that good stuff. So much appreciated. Can't do it without you guys. Quite literally. So, yeah, stay tuned. Stay juicy. And I can't wait to hear from you clever robots either tomorrow night on the live stream or simply on the flippity flop.